Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is to always try just one more time. Thomas Edison. That was a guy that never gave up. He would stay in his lab and stick with it time and time again, and that's how he was one of the greatest inventors of all times. My friends, all we have to do is stick with our charts each and every day. We have it simple, laid out for you here in 3 time frames. Of course, my latest book, 3-Wave Trading Advantage, takes advantage of these time frames, the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, simple volume metric, and the trend lines. My friends, you can have all those fancy indicators. They will confuse you. We keep it simple like the old traders did, who were the masters. Let's continue to follow these charts. We have a day where everything is up except Bitcoin. As we start this week off, we see that the S&P 500 is climbing even higher. The high we had last week was 629.47. So far this week, the high 631.54, just continuing to edge on up 0.19%. We look at the latest 2-day candle. That's the Friday, Monday, higher than average volume. And of course, we were lower than average volume, it looks like in the morning, met it in the afternoon. That red volume means that it opened lower than the prior close. But again, things moving in the right direction. Our directional probability is still bullish on the S&P 500. Backtest accuracy is so-so. Of course, we have already sent out to our Patreon members the 5-day plus ETF trading analysis and execution plan, along with that trading execution summary grid. For those of you who are subscribers for free at chartingwealth.com, you will see the trade execution summary grid for Friday. We, of course, release the day before. We release it a day after we release it to our Patreon members, but you'll get a feel for what we were looking at as we came into today and why we were bullish on stocks and bullish on gold and Bitcoin, and remain so. The only thing we are down on is 20-year U.S. government bonds. Now let's move on and we will see what's up with the NASDAQ 100. It was up just a little over 0.5%. We saw the high last week with 564.73, 566.06. Throughout the course of today, higher than average volume on the 2-day. Nice green up candle there. Starting off the week with a nice green up candle up in the morning. Further up in the afternoon, average volume both times. So we are still long on the NASDAQ 100. So we've been long for quite a while. At some point, these things will top out. I told you guys I did an in-depth analysis this last week on the S&P and the NASDAQ on the likelihood of them rolling over 30, 60, 90 days. It was around 20 to 30%. I would have figured it would have been higher. But again, in the analysis I ran, the things I looked at, I still am cautious as the market just keeps climbing. What's going to kick the legs out from under it? But so far, nothing big, but we can always have those exogenous events, can't we? Things nobody predicts. God forbid, wars, disasters, those types of things. Now, let's look at 20-year U.S. government bonds. I want to tell you that we have been slightly bearish on that for actually the last 2 weeks, but we're starting off with a little green up candle this week. We've not broken the trend line on the half-day, the 2-day, or the weekly, but we do see that things opened higher than the prior close. That's what that green volume means there on the weekly chart. So we'll keep our eye on things. We've got a green spinning top on the Friday, Monday with decent volume. We'll see if it is bottoming out. And again, it's just a little more than a coin toss for that bearishness. So we will keep an eye on 20-year U.S. government bonds, like I said, up for the 8.89%. Now let's look at gold. You know, we have been strong on gold. Those who look at our Friday chart, you saw where we were 75% directional probability of up move and a 70% backtest accuracy. And man, did that pay off today? Gold bounding up 1.54%. Strong 2-day candle. Didn't quite make average volume. You can see we had above average volume in the morning, slacking off in the afternoon. But we had a nice day in gold. Now, the prior high on gold we see back on the 9th of June at 317.60. We are at 313.31 for our high this week. So got a ways to go till we get up there. But it's our strongest chart for directional probability. That is on gold going up and the highest backtest accuracy. So again, gold rebounding after sputtering for the last many weeks. Let's look lastly at Bitcoin. We are still quite positive on Bitcoin, and it did pull back just about 0.5% today, starting the week off weaker after a nice week last week. Of course, when you hear all the hype and all that other stuff, probably people taking some profits, those kind of things. You can see where things popped up in the morning and then took it back in the afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on things. We're still above the weekly trend line on all of the charts. We had above average volume last week, average volume over the last many weeks, and Bitcoin for the prior 3 weeks really bounding up. It could be taking a bit of a break this week. We'll see how things continue to develop. That is where we are on Monday. Hope that you guys enjoyed the program. If you have questions, problems, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And don't forget, you become a Patreon member, you get my latest book for free. That is a 3-way trading advantage. Plus, you get our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, The Charting Wealth Way, our weekly vertical crossovers every week. And of course, every day you get emailed to you and uploaded at the Patreon site our 5-day plus ETF trading analysis and execution plan for the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, 20-year bonds, gold, and Bitcoin. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.